Moving on from that one, folks, it's the game, the 118th meeting of Michigan and Ohio State. For the first time, it's back in Columbus since 2018, and Ohio State is a 7.5-point favorite as Blake Corum's injury is still questionable. He has dealing with a knee ailment. It's unclear if he's going to be able to go tomorrow. It's still unclear. Keep checking on that because I think this line's going to flip pretty drastically if Blake Corum is listed as a full go, a full participant in this game. And when his news came out that he was questionable, doubtful, this line started moving all over the place. It opened at Ohio State -7.5, but very quickly it went to Ohio State -10. Since then, it's kind of brought its way back down as Blake Corum's become more and more questionable as he's dealing with that knee to see if he can go tomorrow. I would be surprised if he doesn't go, but then it becomes a question of, is he going to be 100%? Is he going to get the same workload that he's accustomed to? And I just don't know. And because of that, I'm on Ohio State -7.5. Ohio State is a damn good football team. They're first in EPA, number 3 defense. They're the most efficient team in the nation. Michigan's the third most efficient team. Don't get me wrong. They've done that with a pretty good offense, 11th in offense, 7th defensively in EPA per game. But they do that with Blake Corum. This team runs through Blake Corum. JJ McCarthy, he has thrown 0 touchdowns against AP top 25. That's only 2 games, so a small sample size. But on the season, he's only thrown for 1,952 yards, which is 85th best in the FBS. He has 14 touchdowns to do just 2 interceptions. But to me, JJ McCarthy is more of a game manager. And when you're going up against CJ Stroud in such a dynamic offense in the Buckeyes, I think you need to be more than a game manager. Can this be his, huge moment early on in his career? He's just a sophomore. Of course it can be, but can you expect him to have a career performance against one of the best teams in the country? You cannot. This is also a game for all the marbles. The winner of this is going to go into the college football playoff, assuming they beat whoever wins in the Big Ten West, but we can't necessarily assume that the Big Ten West is going to put a great team in the championship game. I think Ohio State wins this game fairly easily. And I think Ohio State then kind of cruises to a big-time dub in the Big Ten championship game. Like I said, this is the first time that Ohio State will be hosting this game, the game, since 2018. And that's a game that they demolished Michigan. They beat them 62-39, and they were 4-point home dogs in that game. Now here they are as 7.5-point favorites, and I don't think there's much that can be done from Michigan for them to keep this one close, especially if Blake Corum can't go. Ohio State -7.5. Blake Corum's injury is the key factor in me going with Ohio State. It's going to prove to be something because the Michigan offense, it showed last week against Illinois, they struggled without Blake Corum in that lineup. So Ohio State, I think Ohio State wins regardless if Blake Corum goes or doesn't go. But with him out, I don't know if Michigan and JJ McCarthy will be able to keep this one within a 7-point spread. I think Ohio State wins this one by 10. If you look at our power line, it likes Ohio State at -11, but our 2 game simulators like Michigan to win by 4 or to lose by 3. So both of our game simulators think there is a ton of value on Michigan plus 7.5. And I should also tell you guys, if you're in Iowa, our washed up walk-ons boost this week is Michigan to cover. They love Michigan to cover, so we've boosted that from -110 to +110. Will be interesting to see, but I think all the values on Ohio State. I think CJ Stroud, he's been looking for a Heisman moment. In all honesty, he has not played like a Heisman winner, and yet he is somehow the favorite. I guess they've had this game circled. This game's going to be his Heisman moment. When you're throwing to 3 NFL receivers, you're going to tear up this Michigan secondary. I think we might see a little bit of a blowout. Might not be as close of a game as we're all hoping. But the 118th meeting of the game tomorrow at noon, going to be a good one. Number 3, number 2 spot in the college football playoff is on the line.